It's a mean age. But it is gonna be a beautiful future as long as we don't f*** it up. I'm Brian McWilliams, and this is Mean Age Daydream, where I bring you unfiltered comedy, criticism, philosophy, and politics with a Mean Age Daydream. Yeah! Back. It's like sliding into a warm bath, buddy. Here with my friend Robbie the Fire. Coming soon. Is that your nickname on the on the platform now? Coming soon?
I'm always going to be coming soon, you know?
I
you
mean,
can
obviously.
figure that when the podcast's over, I'm probably going to jerk off, so it's always going to
Why
be
wait till
soon.
it's over? Why wait till it's over? I can't see your lower half. You actually, this is the first time I've seen you do a podcast in a while where you're actually sitting down, and that probably is for that exact reason.
Yeah. It's it's actually easier for me to masturbate from a standing up position, but
You know what? I think it's for me too. I'm so used to doing it in the shower now because I have to hide from my wife and children, which is what good parents do, by the way. If you ever meet a parent that doesn't hide from his wife and children to masturbate, that's an issue.
I can't tell you the last time I actually masturbated standing up. I'm lazy.
Really? Oh, I do it all the time. It's great because you can kind of angle away from yourself. You don't have to, the cleanup's much easier. I just put a tarp down like American Psycho. You know,
That's
like I'm going to murder somebody.
Perfect.
Surround yourself in a tarp. Or here's an idea.
Yeah, you got a Puerto Rican wife. You can't leave that cum around to end up with a fourth child.
I don't have a Puerto Rican. That's I've got a nice, good white lady that lives with me. The other races can't stand
Your wife
me.
is surprisingly attractive.
I know. Well,
I say that in a respectful way.
I took it as such. But how about this? You're used to be Jewish. You're still Jewy.
Mm-hmm.
You know the whole they bang through a sheet thing.
Right.
What about you jerk it off? Well, this is something we could even make a brand for. Why don't we make a trash bag that's got a velour inner lining so you're cozy and soft on your nipples and on the inside. You can rub yourself and it's going to feel soft and warm. And then it's got a hole in it and the outside is just like a trash bag material. So the cum just slides right off the trash bag into whatever, the carpet, the grass. And you can hose it off easily. It's washable, machine washable.
What I don't like about this is masturbations is about the convenience. That's what it's about. You know, you don't want to deal with the elements. You just want to be able to
I'm not asking you to fucking jerk off in a blizzard.
No, what you just described was a relationship to me. I got to be washing things. I got to go find the thing. I got to put it on. Who actually is willing to treat? What am I lighting candles? You know what I mean?
That is one step away, I guess, from naming your jerk off velour trash bag. Like Martha, it's time, and then. And also the hole would probably get a little bit of crust in it. I'd have to really look into whether or not the friction from whether or not you have pubes versus no pubes. That really comes into question too, right? All right, let's say you're banging this thing every day, without a doubt. Your pubic hair, is it going to chafe the holes? Is it going to start to crack and start to pull on the skin?
I guess I'm not really quite envisioning what your trash bag velour jerk off operation is. That I'm not quite understanding the dynamics of how pubes here could be creating a chafing issue.
Well, I'm thinking that if the pubes get stuck in the hole after chafing, then it can become
how small is this hole that your pubes aren't on the outside?
I've got a pretty wide, frothy cock here. And the idea, though, is you just put your dick through the hole so that the pubes are really on the inside. The only pubes that are coming through are at the base of the shaft. But I'm worried about that becoming a friction issue where it could either damage the hole or damage your shaft.
Is there no lubrication to this machine?
How many times do you want to clean this thing? The whole point is that you can use it. The outside's a hose down. Now we're talking about cleaning the inside too? Do we have to spray it for lice and crabs?
The tales I've heard from other people who may have used fleshlights or other male sex products, the cleanup is what makes them disgusting, and that's why you throw them out.
I'm pitching you an easy spray down cleanup. We're getting off track.
Which is, what am I going to go out into the fucking backyard with the trash bag and a hose and wash it down like Pulp Fiction in front of the neighbors? You just wave like, I'm just cleaning off my jerk-off trash bag.
You do it in the middle of the night like any adult does when you're taking care of your dirty one.
Like a serial killer that you go out into your yard in the bag in the middle of the night with the hose. I don't even own a hose. What am I going to go? I got to run a hose through my apartment out to the parking lot, wait for the neighbors to be asleep.
You're no hose pour? I didn't know, Robbie. When you moved out of the city, I thought, wow, he's really doing but no hose pour. Jesus, that's a whole nother era. What do you do? Just take cups of water when you need to hose something down? Do you wash your... Do you just wash your car by filling condoms up and dumping them on the hood slowly?
Wash my car. What kind of luxury do you think I'm living?
That's true.
I got an old Subaru Legacy that's got so many dents in it, you don't want it any shinier.
I just got a new Subaru Legacy. We're on opposite sides. We're going different directions, you and I.
Good for you, bud. I just did all the repair work to, now I'm pot invested to keep this thing for the next 10 years.
Nice. That's what they're there for, man.
I'd like to put 200,000 miles on my car. I'm currently at 100,000, so I'm halfway to the goal.
That's reasonable. My car just died at 60,000 miles, and it's a Hyundai, and I'm like in a fucking blood war.
What was the Hyundai? Because they almost killed you and your family.
Dude, well, I'm in it with my daughter, and the engine died. I'm going like 75 on the freeway. I'm merging across 5 lanes of traffic because I'm trying to get to the to an off-ramp.
That's Hyundai's fault. Yeah.
Listen,
being on the far side and trying to get across 5 lanes. I mean, obviously that's on the manufacturer.
I'm going over as a professional does. I'm being careful. But the problem is I need to get to the other side of the freeway because the exit's coming up. The engine, I gunned the engine to go forward to go around these cars. The engine, which has been serviced, just did the 60,000 mile servicing at the fucking dealer. Just got the oil changed again after that before the required warranty.
Right.
Or before the required maintenance says. The engine just dies. And with it, because the power shuts off, my power steering dead, my brakes lock. So it's like, now I've got to twist this wheel. And I don't know if you've ever driven a car without the power steering locked on. Right. It's like wrestling a shark. Like it's not easy. It's like if you're gonna try to fuck Lizzo. It's that difficult. Like you got to really turn the wheel.
Well, the Lizzo's more of a smell problem, but I get the sentiment.
Well, the car was also smoking, so the smell was there. Right. So I'm like going over, and there's cars whizzing by me. I can't accelerate, so my car's just slowly drifting across the fucking 4 lanes. I get to the off ramp, and then I manage to get to the side about 3 feet off. But my toddler's in the back seat. I'm barely able to brake. I'm barely able to steer. And I'm like, if my wife was in here, dead. Like I don't even know, either dead or just like stopped in the middle of the freeway, which is when you really get killed because cars don't pay attention, you just slam into you and kill you. So that's what I'm dealing with. And these fuckers are telling me it's my fault because I was extremely negligent in my maintenance of the vehicle, which, as I just told you, complete horse shit. Since it's like, well, if I was negligent, what happened when I brought it into the dealership 4,000 miles ago? Nothing was wrong then that you could find? What did I do in the meantime?
And so what's protocol? Like what happens next?
Well, I'm fighting with them. I went through all the review services for theirs because this engine problem exists. There's a class action lawsuit they lost, but apparently my engine VIN number doesn't qualify. So they're just refusing to fix it. Now I'm supposed to go through the Better Business Bureau, which is a joke, for arbitration. And past that, I'm giving up. I've already gotten a new car. My goal now is just to be vindictive and spiteful and ruin every social media post. Like I'm paying on TikTok for my video to be boosted. Every video they post, I respond to with a horrible comment and my fucking video on every single post. So I'll do this. I've got the time. I'll do it for the next 4 years.
60,000 dead is pretty flagrant.
Ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
I can understand if it was even 100,000. Fine. 60,000 miles, dude.
Or if it was like one of those situations where you own the car for 14 years and only put 60,000 miles on it, but it's 14 years old. Yeah.
Right. So it's just, ridiculous. But vindictiveness is a powerful mistress. And it's it's something I like to sip on, just like my whiskey. You drinking, by the way? You got a little sippy sip?
Not tonight. I'm trying to get rid of the at-home boozing. It's a battle.
Oh, that's the best place to booze, though. You don't have to worry about drunk driving. You don't have to worry about people following you home because you're already there.
Buddy, you don't have to tell me these things. I get it. I invented at-home boozing.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
What do you got there?
A little bullet rye. I got the big bottle. I bought the big bottle at Costco today because I thought we were drinking together. I was like, I don't know how much of this I'm going to go through tonight.
I'm sorry, bud. I'm not. Listen, 2 days from now, I might. I'm
sure.
I'm not preaching. I'm not judging. I'm just saying at this very juncture in time of this evening, I'm trying to get rid of the at-home boozing.
Well, you're going to sit there and swallow your own spit. So that's always fun.
There you go.
All right. Well, speaking of swallowing spit,
Right.
There's a couple things we got to get into on the show today. Obviously, Trump indictment, we could talk about that. But first and foremost, I wanted to talk about this Dylan Mulvaney thing. I'm sure you've been playing along and watching the Dylan Mulvaney saga.
I want to get one of these Bud Light cans as a souvenir. Where do I even find one? I feel like these are going to be worth money as the death of an American icon.
I do too, and I think they just made them for him is the problem. Like, I wanted to see them. Everybody was saying, and I even said, so like, I don't need this idiot on my beer can. Like, I don't need to be gender warred on when I'm just trying to get a little drunk on shitty beer. But I think they just sent him a couple of Bud Light Pounders with his face on it. But the fact remains, though, he is still a sponsor. He's still the face of Bud Light, or Transweiser, as I'm starting to call it.
Transweiser, so, that's great.
Yeah, Transweiser.
Was it just that they paid him to do a post, or did they actually use him for any like paid media beyond that?
As far as I know, it's just that they paid him to do the post, right? Which is not cheap. You know, the guy's going to make over $1 million. The girl, whatever you want to call him,
she makes $1 million a post.
So, they're saying this year slated to make over $1 million just off of social media sponsored posts, which is fucking crazy. Now, to me, this makes no sense. From any perspective from a Bud brand, your audience is not the trans audience. You're not going to win people over to drink your shitty beer because it's shitty beer people drink at sporting events and fishing and playing beer pong with, right? So what the fuck are they thinking?
You know, I was furious about it till this very moment.
And now me being mad about it makes you want to go the opposite way just to spite me?
No, I'm going to give a little bit of the counter argument. And I don't stand by this absolutely, but I'm going to give you a little bit of the counter argument. In trying to get people to take things such as Legion of Skanks, a lot of people go, hey, that's a name, offensive, this, that. We don't want our brand affiliated with it. I've never, once someone says, I never end up with a sale. Here's the thing about Legion of Skanks. It's a great product. I'm telling you, if you want to reach a certain demographic, we do great ad reads. We perform well. The name is kind of baked into the cost. Like if you're looking,
can I tell you a horrible story of woe about the Legion of Skanks? You're not gonna like this. So Lions of Liberty did an ad buy on Legion of Skanks.
Really?
Biggest ad buy we ever made. Cost us a lot of money, as you know.
Did I place that? I didn't place that.
No, it wasn't through you. It was through Jimmy. Okay. So we got it in a discount, but it was still a heavy spend for us, right? And this is before the drama happened with the Mises Caucus that really kicked us in the balls.
Right.
Which was not my fault, by the way. Not my fault.
You guys did particularly well when you did a run with Dave.
Yeah, with Dave we did great, but with Legion of Skanks, we somehow they had at the time like 250,000 listeners at the time. We somehow lost listeners during the reads. I don't know how. We're spending thousands of dollars here. We're losing listeners. Are they unsubscribing out of fury that we dared advertise on the Legion? It's like it made no sense on any level. And I do PR, you do we know sales. I'm like, somebody should have been like, well, fuck it. I'll drop in. No. Lost listeners. It was mind-boggling, dude.
I'd have to go check the way that was actually done, but honestly doesn't sound like the greatest of placements.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I gave Dave a read, and he read it as like, oh, this is Tyler. Hey, Brian, tell Robbie I'm the rapper guy that gave the Comedy Jews CDs with satin and swastikas. Nice. Nice. Do you remember that?
No, it's funny though, but I actually don't remember that. Anyways, I've said to people that like there's a difference between branded advertising and then like typically speaking in advertising with an influencer. So branded advertising is you go, hey, I want The Rock to be the face of my brand. And you're now leveraging like The Rock and you're putting him up on billboards, this, that, or the next thing. It tends to be with the influencer marketing. You're more just using the influencer to have a conversation with that influencer's audience. And ideally, no one should even know that advertising took place.
Ideally.
Now, Dylan Mulvaney's it is a little bit different than, like, for example, just being on a podcast because he is more public and I guess his feed is more public. So I guess I don't really have a point here.
Well, I know. I mean, I know where you're going with it. Is that you're
trying
to?
They weren't really trying to do a brand.
It out.
Yeah, they weren't trying to do a brand. It's not like I turned on the Super Bowl and instead of watching a funny Bud Light ad, they were doing a Dylan Mulvaney ad. With all that being said, we know what the audience for Bud Light is, and it's probably people that don't care about Dylan Mulvaney. What I mean by that is like, yeah, there's probably an audience of rednecks who are like not that. I think most people don't care. If you want to go live in New York City and be trans, no one really cares.
Right.
What they care is when you show up and you're like, you have to celebrate me for this. That's where people are like, well, can I just do my thing? And they're like, no, unless you're woke and on board. And where it becomes scary is you're like, I don't understand. Like, part of what happens here is I'm buying beer, and then the beer companies, they make a lot of money, and then they sponsor content, and it's the content that I like, and it's a little bit of like a circular relationship. But if all of a sudden all the brands are only willing to sponsor the woke shit that I hate, you know what I mean? That's where it becomes like it's like a different form of censorship, and it wakes people, or it maybe doesn't wake people up. But I think what actually people are so rattled by is that socialism, that brands are no longer interested in profit. Markets are so closed and people are so ingrained in the Fed and being a part of like a certain narrative for profits that they don't care about you and your purchasing dollars. And that kind of just gets people where they're like, what is going on here? Why am I being preached to from people that should want my money? This is a capitalist system. I should be buying a beer. These people should want my money, and so they should be sponsoring the shit that I like so that I want to go buy more of their beer. You know what I mean? Like, people, like, they're not actually verbalizing because they don't see the bigger picture, but what you're actually living through, in my opinion, we're starting to, like, we're in fucking boiling water here. It's what happened with the airlines over COVID, that all of a sudden airlines that always worked didn't operate. All of a sudden a medical system where your doctor could give you an opinion of what he actually thought you should do, that failed, and you were forced to take a vaccine that turned out not to have all that much utility. This is all just signals of socialism. And so I think, like, so most people, they're almost being shamed into like, well, why are you so upset about this?
Yeah, exactly.
It's because you're actually waking up to the fact that we're in a fully socialist society where for some reason Budweiser cares less about placating to me, who's their customer, and more about preaching some woke thing that I don't even really understand. And you might go further with and actually say is an embracement of mental illness or is gearing towards even grooming kids, which is fine. Like I mostly agree with that, but I'm just saying it's like, I don't know, if imagine you were a customer like at your barber shop, and then all of a sudden you went into your barbershop, and like your barbershop, you guys were all about shooting the shit and playing video games. And then you came in there one week and they decided to decorate it as a ballet studio, and they're playing ballet stuff all the time. And you're like, I don't understand. Who is this for? I used to hang out in here and shoot the shit with people. It's like, why are you making this a ballet thing? Do you not want my business anymore? So you know what I mean? There's even like a fundamental just, hey, why am I not being respected as a customer, like, element to this?
I think half of everything that we react to is that the people on the left have pushed this stuff so hard, so fast. Like, you know, there takes time for acculturation to happen no matter what the movement is, right? And it was like one of those things where gay marriage took forever, right? It probably shouldn't have, but it took forever to be accepted. And then it was, and everybody's kind of like, okay, cool. You know, we more or less all agree as a society, gay marriage is fine. These people should have the same rights as everybody else, yada, yada. They're dropping this trans shit on it and forcing it through in like the smallest window of time. It went from everybody should get along, right? And this is what pissed me off, like the trans day of visibility. Like, to your point earlier, the last thing people should want is to be overly visible all the time. The whole point of people is to be left the fuck alone and really to be invisible. Like, if you're trans, probably the last thing you want, unless you are truly, you know, mental illness and you want attention, which is half of what I think is going on now with the social contagion thing and the victim mentality. But you should just want to be accepted in the society, going about your business, go shopping, do whatever. That doesn't mean you should be able to go into restrooms with women and pretend that you don't have a cock when you're getting changed with them. Doesn't mean you should be able to just beat the shit out of them in sports. But you should not make it a point to be so visible all the time. And these people are doing that all the time, 24/7. And they're rubbing it in people's faces, and they're not ready. And I think that's half the pushback that you see. The other half is, I mean, without a doubt, tied into, you know, people have said this in the comments, like Toad and Alex Evans here, you know, it is tied into ESG in a way. In that, yes, I get it. These corporations are trying to appease people in the ESG world. They're trying to appease the money managers. They're trying to appease even the federal government. You know, I've made the argument that half of what you see here is probably, I keep saying half, I need to say, let's say a quarter, just to mix it up, is because they're chasing federal dollars as well. And those dollars are chasing ESG and woke bullshit. But regardless of all that, if you're Bud Light, it's still, even if you're just trying to get this brand ambassadorship, okay, we're going to do one post to try to win over some of the trans crowd. You knew the response was going to be exactly this. There was literally no possibility it wasn't.
Right.
That this was the outcome
and
to cause
your
this
general
outrage.
Audience.
Completely. And
Yeah.
you're mocking women. That's like you and I went through on a hate watch. We hate watched Dylan Mulvaney or Dylan Mulvaney. I keep saying Dylan Mulvaney because he's an actor. Dylan Mulvaney's transitional videos. The dude is a cartoon caricature of women. Every woman should be insulted by it. It is beyond even a cartoon stereotype that you see on Bob's Burgers of like a doofusy woman. And somehow he's being held up as this icon of girlhood to the point where Bud fucking Light is putting him on a can. Put real women on a can. Where are you seeing a woman on a can ever for Bud Light? And yet this fucking clown is who they put up. I mean, that's why people are outraged by it.
Yeah, it's going to be, like, I haven't seen any studies. There's a couple things I'd find fascinating. This is where I hope to get to a point in my career where I can actually perform real journalism. But I wonder how much of a hit Phillips took over that, the Boys Will Be Boys campaign. Like, I don't know how much of a lot. Like, yeah. I don't know how much market share they actually lost over that. I'd be fascinated. But I'd also be fascinated to see a study about, like, the team that approved this ad read. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who is the marketing team? What were they thinking? Who are the individuals? Who won Budweiser? Like, I would just be kind of fascinated to get the inside scoop on, like, who went forward with this. And it would be, I think Bud Light, it's definitely in the top 5. I think it might be the number 1 beer in America.
It was.
I'm a Budweiser drinker, which I might think twice about. I'm not that married. I'm married to Budweiser because when I was a kid and I started drinking in high school, Budweiser just advertised to me the most. So if I was going to drink
my father
a beer,
beat me, he beat me with a Bud.
No, I'm just
that's
saying
why I learned to be an American.
You want proof of the fact that just advertising works? When I was 16 years old and I went to bodega to buy a beer was Budweiser. That to me, like, that was right. Budweiser, the king of beers. I must have heard that 1,000 times. Budweiser, the king of beers. So I started drinking Budweiser in high school, and even though over the years I've become a bit of a beer snob, and I definitely like your heavy IPAs, a bottle of Budweiser is standard beer to me. That's standard. Like, I'm more than happy drinking a bottle, like a cold bottle of regular Budweiser. I know that that's not the best beer, but I can just tell you I've been drinking that's my beer. I've been drinking that since high school.
Look, man, you were drinking with me in Vegas and in Reno.
Right.
I am also a trash-ass beer drinker. When I drink a beer, it is usually a Bud Light. That's what I order. Because most of the time, I'm a marathon drinker.
I like heavy IPA. Like, I prefer heavy IPAs, or at the moment, I've gone deep enough with the whiskey that, like, I just prefer having, like, 2 doubles. Like, I just kind of don't even mess with beer that much. Or, like,
I don't either.
Like, I've also stopped pacing where I used to be the marathon drinker, so it's like, let's sip on beers all night, and like maybe now I'm more like, I'll wait till later in the evening to just, like, that's part, I've been like a little bit more go-mo drinking, where it went from like just a double at the end to, ramping up a little bit.
Well, that's the problem is thank you, Toad. I am literally the Liberty Case Race champion, which David Fight had hosted.
Oh, did you guys do a new race? Because Toad,
no, Will Fight.
Great. What?
Sorry, Will Fight. I said David Fight. Will Fight had hosted it.
Okay.
And yeah, we have not done another one yet. I want to do another one, but it killed Toad. Toad gave up drinking after that case race.
Well,
he
made a rebound and got thrown out of a bar after an evening in Boston.
Nice. Oh, yeah, Toad, he passed out during it. I forgot. But yeah, I'm the champion of the case race.
He took great pride in that. I can't throw back beers like that, or I would have to train for such an event. There was a time where I could definitely handle the higher volume of beer, but that is, like, in my earlier comedy days, I mean, I used to drink, like, I used to have my first beer after work, train ride in, all night in the city, back when life was fun. Eat pizza slices all night, walk around. I was younger. I had like the perfect amount of fat on me. Lost all my hair doing that, but what can you do?
I lost all my hair. I didn't even know what I lost all my hair. Just being young. Being young and beautiful. At 16, I started going bald, Robbie. 16!
Unbelievable.
But I'm with you. I was a big Bud Light
I wore too many
drinker.
yarmulkes in my youth.
It just slowly rubbed it away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And God's like, well, it looks like you're not using that hair under there. I might as well take it away.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need it. And I like how your God talks Jewy. I can
Yeah,
save,
well, I
I
mean,
can save on your hair. You don't even need it.
Yeah, the Jewish God's Jewy. The white, the
Yeah.
white Christian God speaks, probably an Irish accent.
But do you think people will? Do you think there's going to be a lot of people who will
Yes.
stop drinking Bud Light over this? That's awesome.
I am. I will tell you for a fact.
Right.
I was telling my wife I was almost irrationally pissed off about this happening, just because, like we were talking about, it summed up everything that makes me angry about these like corporate cronyism, corporate siding up with the woke causes, with ESG. It pissed me off because it hit the nail on the head of the most obnoxious person you could possibly find, other than the video of some chick I'm going to show you in a minute. You can't pick somebody that's more obnoxious, stupider, less to say about anything, and more just in the vein of, I guess, the basic public concept of this is stupid right. Not stupid conservative right. This is stupid right. Like, this is what we believe is right, and it doesn't matter how fucking dumb it is. We're going to celebrate it. And that's what Dylan Mulvaney embodies in every way. And it makes no fundamental sense for the brand. It makes no fundamental sense economically. It makes no fundamental sense on any level from a marketing perspective. And like I said, I'd love to be in that fucking meeting to see what the rationale was in pushing this forward, because there couldn't have been any. So I am now a Coors Original man. That's it. I'm done with Bud. I'm done with Bud Light. I know all their fucking product line up and down. I'm not drinking fucking Corona. I'm not drinking any of that shit. I am a Coors Original man, and I actually have Coors stock.
Is Coors not Anheuser-Busch?
No, they're Coors Molson, and they also, and Yingling also, my beer, which I can't get out here. And by the way, the fastest growing brand on the East Coast, that is supposed to be available to me out here. So once that is, I will be a Yingling man.
I used to drink Yingling. I had a Yingling phase in college. Can I tell you a fun fact about Coors?
Of course.
So I discovered this.
Of course.
There you go. I discovered this when I was out in Omaha, Nebraska. So you've got your Coors Light, which is more traditionally drinking. I used to get tall cans of regular Coors. I had a stretch of that.
OG, man.
But when I was in Omaha, they had there's a slightly fancier Coors that comes in like a real old school bottle, almost like the Red Stripe bottle. And Coors, you know what the owner's actual name is? Because it's written on that bottle. You would never believe this. Adolf Coors.
There we go. Well, we know they ain't going to get down with this trans thing, because the Germans killed trans people.
Anheuser-Busch was actually a couple years ago bought out by some big German conglomerate.
InBev.
I actually think
a Belgian conglomerate. Yeah, InBev.
Oh, I actually think it's very funny because I'm a sucker for it. But like, if you look it up, even Bullet Rye, which looks and feels like it's an American whiskey, and it is it is made in a distillery down in Kentucky, but it's owned by Diageo whatever, which is another German liquor conglomerate. Like, all of these American whiskeys are actually just owned by like these giant German corporations.
Well, the Germans can't brew anything themselves anymore. It's too expensive with their gas prices and their electricity. I mean, hard to brew a beer in the dark. As
a person who works in specifically digital advertising in this space, and I look at Alex Jones and the money he's made white labeling. I'd said this years ago at Gas, and God bless, because Mark Norman, I haven't tasted yet, but Mark Norman and Sam Morrell, I know they got their bodega
jerked off whiskey in a cup. I know. You had it in your freezer for a while.
But I years ago, I suggested that we should do a Fuck You Whiskey Corp and really do an ad campaign about the fact that if you're drinking American whiskey, you're actually supporting German conglomerates that hate you, and look at where they actually spend their advertising dollars. They literally hate you. They're German, like, these are foreign entities pretending like they are, you know what I mean? Supporting content that you hate.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, man. I do. I mean, honestly, I was talking to Jason Stapleton about getting a bottle or a barrel of whiskey and bottling our own whiskey for a while. And it's not that expensive, to be honest. I mean, it's like, I think it's like 10 grand. And then, you figure, okay, you could probably make a profit off that, X many bottles out of it. And
the problem is you got what scares me about that is I guess I would really want to hand select something that I actually liked. And then I would be concerned that the actual deliverability of my barrel might taste different than what I tasted.
True. Well, they can swap it out at whim too. You got to have a lot of trust in your barreler.
Yeah.
To do that. Yeah. But anyway, so what do you think? Do you think it's going to have a huge impact on InBev and Budweiser? I mean, they're a huge company, but I legit think it's going to have a much larger impact than they thought.
I think they probably underestimated. Is it trending? But boycott Bud Light, is that?
It was for 2 days, and I think that for the amount of trending
someone's
it
gonna
does,
make money if someone makes just that T-shirt with the Bud Light logo and like the same text, like boycott Bud Light. I feel like that would make some money. I feel like who owns Busch Light? Is Busch Light?
Busch is, I think. I'm not sure who owns Busch. Let me bring up InBev.
I'm not really friends with him, but I'd love to convince Shane Gillis to just create Shane Light and just quit pushing Bud Light. Just be out there with your own brand, and that's where you really show these people. Because if like the same way Connor launched his whiskey and made a fortune, type thing.
Yeah.
Special
whatever 7.
If Rogan or someone else really came out with their own whiskey or beer line and it like got to the point where one of these bigger companies had to buy it out, I feel like they would be forced to go, oh, we have to transition our marketing.
Yeah.
Think about all the all the media that you consume. Like if you any listener of this show, how many events do you go to that you see heavy liquor and beer consumption? And why do you think it is that no beer or liquor brand has ever sponsored your content?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? I mean, how does that make sense? Are they not interested in the profits of this market? Are they not interested in like putting their beers in front? Like
it is
works.
mind-boggling. Yeah. I've tried to get liquor sponsors too, and I've never managed to lock a single one down. Never.
I think that they are, and I say this based on some information, but I think that they brands together have there's a little bit of a collusion going on that they've all agreed not to engage in some content. And since they all agreed on that, no one's picking up that market.
Well, that certainly sucks. It sucks for us.
It sucks for us until someone actually steps in and goes, fuck it. I will specifically make a product and advertise it to this market. And people get displaced. Like, you know what I mean? Industries have gotten displaced by podcast advertising.
Oh, for sure. Harry's Razors is a great example of it. Harry's Razors, it was
or
nothing.
Blue Chew against Viagra.
Yeah, Blue Chew.
Viagra's not even like a name anymore. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to their doctor to get themselves Viagra?
No, true. Who goes to their doctor anyway? Man,
yeah,
just
I haven't seen
die.
in a while.
Just grow a tumor like a man.
Was the last time you
fucking. What are you, a Dylan Mulvaney with your going to the doctor?
I don't think I've seen a doctor in a decade. I probably should.
No, probably not. They might not. They probably wouldn't even seen you anyway because you don't have the vaccinations. You won't wear a mask.
Yeah,
they would have been turned away. But wait, let me ask: Is Dylan Mulvaney? Is he even? I don't think he's even transitioning officially, right? I think he's still got all his bits. It's only been like a year. That was Budweiser's thing. It's 365 days of girlhood.
You can declare yourself a lady while still having a penis. It gets confusing.
I hate it. I hate all of it. Well,
can I tell you something that and this is such like a lame thing to say, but like when we were kids, I guess when Jackass was popular, they had concerns about that kids were going to engage in stunts. And there's something to be said for whatever's profitable in the marketplace. Like people will go ahead and do. I've even seen in comedy. I mean, the amount of time I've put into YouTube and podcasting instead of stand-up because there's money. Like I remember like when we were all like just hardcore stand-up and then YouTube came along and all these people were making money. I mean, that makes an impact. Or like you ask, I have a joke about this in my act, but most kids, like 90% of kids want to be influencers. So if one of the biggest money-making influencers is a person that has openly transitioned, you've created a new form of content. And now, in my opinion, I don't think that that's organic. I don't know if it's the CIA. I don't know if it's China. I don't know who manipulates algorithms or who puts that much money behind these things. But, like, that's not the market. The market is not going, hey, I want more Dylan Mulvaney, that all of a sudden, like, because if there's something that makes money and is popular, more people are going to try and do that. I mean, it's basic economics. It's the opportunity cost, where if I got a burger place and pizza places have higher profit margins, I'm going to figure out how to sell some pizza out of my spot.
Well, dude, OnlyFans is a great example of that, right?
Right.
OnlyFans
is lying, dude. Every time I see an article of some fat bitch pig who's now
making $1.5 million.
Yeah, you know what's going on?
I believe every word of it. I believe every word.
That's not the market. That is like OnlyFans itself somehow rigging the algorithm. It's a lottery to convince other people to ruin their lives. By the way, how bad must it feel as a lady? Like, I understand if Playboy wants to write, let's say they brought back fucking Playgirl or whatever, and they brought me a check for $10 million and said, look, and listen, people want to see your soft putty penis, but we'll dress it up, we'll pamper it, we're going to put some makeup on it,
we're going to mustache and a beard on it.
We're going to cover it from specific angles, and we're going to give you the Kardashian treatment. Your big fat titties are going to look like hard rock solid pecs. You're going to be naked in this magazine, but we're going to make your
God damn it. You forced me now to. I'm literally imagining in my brain how I would shoot your cock in a Playgirl shoot, and I'm imagining putting little beards and mustaches on it as for my joke to make it look really good.
Yeah, like a nice spread leg. Yeah, and then you got like a little bit of like the comedy angle by doing it that way. But at least if you came to me with the paycheck, you're like, is $10 million worth your dignity? I might go, yes, it is. But to take the action of being naked for, like, I've done that with Stan. I did a podcast to zero audience for a long period of time. You
did my show before, so. But
what do you mean? I'm just saying. No,
a podcast to zero audience. Never.
I did my personal podcast for zero audience for a fair amount of time. I also did stand up to complete irrelevance for a fair amount of time. You feel like a jackass. You're talking about your personal life. You're talking about, and nobody cares. And you're just like, I am just putting myself in a position where my parents friend can go look at how much of an asshole I can be without justifying this by making money. So I did that without having to be nude. There's got to be nothing worse than finally stooping to, you know what, I'll just put my nudes up and then finding out no one cares.
But that's the thing, man. Here's the thing. That everyday feminism now, right? What are we on? 17th wave feminism says that it's okay. There's two thoughts of it. Number one, that porn is exploitive, and number two, that porn is empowering. Right? And that chicks should go out and fuck everybody and show their twat, and that they should be just as crude and rude and all this other shit. And right now, to your point about the marketplace, you have these chicks out there, and they're on major podcasts. They're on all these platforms. They're getting all this showcase. They're making money. And there are chicks making a ton of money that just do this full time. And they're not that good looking.
Hey,
these women are going to chase that.
God bless. If you're actually making money doing it, I don't hate whatever.
I'm telling you, man, they make an astounding amount of money. But like you're saying with the Dylan Mulvaney thing,
the problem
there's
with
not that many people that are out there looking at him, though. And
Right.
I refuse to believe that there is a market for that. Because even with the social contagion, even with the curve and the pickup and all the entertainment push and the leftist push and the political push, you still only have a very minuscule portion of the population that is legitimately trans. And I refuse to believe that anybody else really wants to follow this fucking idiot to see what he's up to.
So I've mentioned this before on podcasts, and I've mentioned it enough times I should really go back and fact check it. But I remember reading an article that the CIA was basically buying Jackson Pollock artwork because when we were competing with Russia, we wanted to pretend like there was high demand for America. It was Jackson Pollock's, I think, and Andy Warhol's, because they wanted to make it seem like the market was very into American high culture. So that is a tool that the elites use, is that they'll put money
that makes complete sense to me that they would
into
do that.
Particular things to try and make it seem like there's more of a market for it.
Yeah.
So the idea that somebody would spend a lot of money with Dylan Mulvaney just to make it seem like the market was into that and encourage more people to engage in that behavior, even though the market doesn't want it, it doesn't actually provide value, and it's not really in demand, it strikes me as likely.
Well, and think about this. Now they're pot committed. If anything, they've gone so far, to my argument earlier about they pushed too far too fast on this trans thing, and most people are like, this is fucking bonkers. Now they're so pot committed, they have to make it look like there's a market. They have to make it look like people are coming around to it. So they're going to dump thousands, millions, trillions into it. Well, not trillions, but billions into it, making it look normal and normalizing the concept so that they don't get beaten back on the political side of things and on the cultural side of things for having pushed too far in the first place. It's really their only way to go. It's almost like, I mean, at this point, Bud Light said, we're not going to apologize for backing Dylan Mulvaney. Now, they can't back off anyway.
Right.
You already did it. The response is what it was. Now, if you back off, every liberal media outlet and leftist online and all these insane, they're going to go after you. So you can't back off if you wanted to. But I do think that they're pot committed. And like you're saying, they've got no choice now but to push this as far as it can possibly go before the population as a whole snaps and just says, fuck off. We're not going to take it anymore. Right. This is too bizarre and we're afraid for our children. And I'll tell you this, man, legitimately, I have 2 daughters. I am legitimately afraid of this for them because I see so many stories of chicks chopping their fucking tits off at 13, going around their parents and then regretting it 3 years later. And you see all these testimonies online because now we're reaching that age where these kids are like, I'm self-aware. How could you let me do this? I was taken advantage of. Like, there's a chick suing Kaiser Permanente right now, and I hope she gets millions out of them.
Wait, what's Kaiser Permanente?
Oh, Kaiser Permanente? So Kaiser Permanente is a mega big hospital chain out here in LA.
Okay.
And their whole thing, they have some weird thing where it's like they pay their doctors different, but their doctors, they went in, this chick at like 13 went in and was like, I'm a boy, I'm in a girl's body, lop my tots off, and the whole schmageg. And they were like, you're right. And so she's now of age, and she's like, I can't believe you did this. I was a cute girl. I'm not trans at all. Nobody ever questioned me. Nobody ever, evaluated me. I had depression issues. I had body issues. I had body dysmorphia issues. Why did nobody look at these issues I had mentally and tell me, pump the brakes?
Right.
Instead, it's go for it.
When people talk about the, I guess, how this is pushing pedophilia, there is something to be said for whether or not children are able to make these decisions, and if they can make these decisions, then why can't they consent as well to sexual intercourse? Like, if you can make a decision at age 8 about whether or not you should be a boy or girl, and I want to make it clear, I don't think either of these things are appropriate. Like, I think that they're both wrong for the exact same reason.
But yeah, from a philosophical argument, why would you not?
But I'm just saying the people who are pushing that it is appropriate, well, then what's the distinction between that and other decisions that a 12 or 13-year-old can or can't be making?
If you can change your gender at 13 and make that decision, why can you not leave the house and live on your own? Why can you not work? I mean, again, it goes into a billion other issues. And yeah, exactly. Why can you not sexually consent? If you can consent to changing your sex, you should be able to consent to having it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very simple, and I don't disagree with that argument, but like you're saying, I also agree with you. I think that there's got to be a cutoff. And I was thinking about this for for the show, I'm trying to think about these ways to have positive philosophical outcomes and futurist outcomes for libertarian and anarchist philosophy, right? Because I don't think anybody's doing it. What's like a projected future that's a good future for our philosophy? And I'm trying to think through all these topics, and sex was one of them. Okay. And gender. And I was thinking about that, and like it gets into the age of consent, but I'm also like, do people realize this trans shit? We're forcing these kids, or well, we're not. A lot of people are forcing these kids into this decision. They're pressuring them into doing it. Like, yes, do it. Our society, yes, do it. Change your sex, right? Meanwhile, look what's happening with AI. Look what's happening with VR. Look what's happening with all of these technological advancements. In 10, 20 years, if you want to be a chick, guess what you're going to have to do? Put on your fucking VR goggles, jump into your sensory tank of goo, and you can be a chick for 8 hours a day, every day. And I guarantee you, we're going to have the technology to make your brain think that you are a chick getting fucked by as many dicks as you want, or a dude fucking as many vaginas with you want, as long as, whatever it might be, we're going to have that technology. And in the meantime, all these kids are mutilating themselves, changing themselves irrevocably. For what? For what? Did I completely lose you?
No, I don't have an answer for as to what they're doing.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying, though, is like with technology, a lot of these people that, the whole thing is I'm trapped in the wrong body, but you can, without surgery, without anything, with technology, you're going to be able to be in that body effectively.
You're saying you'll be able to potentially achieve it without the
well,
I've
or have
also-
so much of an advancement that you're not going to have these terrible scars in this experience that's
Right.
halfway there. It's either going to be a virtual, seamless experience with an avatar or AI and VR. There's no reason to mutilate yourself at 13. Wait
Right.
and see.
Yeah, wait. It's like version 1 iPhone. Why, you might as well wait for the later technology. Why you get stuck with the early
these
version?
bitches neo pussies are flip phones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You have a flip dick.
yeah. Wait for better tech. It's coming.
Anything else to add on this? Otherwise, we could go on to the next thing.
No, I think we covered it.
All right. So I don't know if you saw this amazing video from originally I saw this from Lila Hart. I don't know if you know Lila. She's a great chick.
Wait, I'm sorry. We should do we should spoof the 365 days of girlhood for 1 day of ruining an established brand.
We should send Bud Light a can with our faces on it. Like, congratulations on 1 day of ruining your brand.
Yeah.
Trump.
day
It'll be
of ruining
Trump's.
your brand.
It'll be Trump's mugshot on it.
Right.
That's what I was
wonder
saying.
if
If Bud
all-
Light really wanted to piss their base off, that's what they
Yeah.
should do: is put his mugshot on a can. That would really get him.
I wonder if all brands just move away from the influencer plays because they're like, look, you make one bad decision, and even though it doesn't take much to go, this is just a dumb one. This one doesn't make sense. This is not an audience. What is, dude? I remember once having a conversation with like Natty Light. Actually, it wasn't just Natty Light. I've had a lot of conversations with brands. Natty Light was like launching a seltzer. Maybe this wasn't my direct conversation, and they were interested in content that didn't make sense for what that brand would be. Like, I offered them things
like
that made
champagne. Yeah,
I
wait.
I offered them things that made perfect sense for a Natty Light seltzer, and they were like, "No, we're looking for more of like a Dylan Mulvaney type thing." And we're like, "All right, good luck." I mean, that's
For
not what we do.
natural light.
Maybe it wasn't. All right, listen, just to cover my own ass here and not
No, but I
badmouth
believe
anyone.
that.
Maybe it wasn't, but it was like in the vein of like a product like Natty Light launching something new, and we had gotten a hold of them because we thought it would make very good sense for their brand with the content that I have, and they came back that they were looking for a hipster, trendy Brooklyn gay thing that did not make sense.
We're in deep talks with him and her, Zoe Deschanel's band. Are you familiar?
Right. No.
Yeah,
but
idiots.
I get what you're saying.
Know thyself.
Yeah.
Brand, know thyself. It's unbelievable. Okay, so let me share this. Did you see this video? This is, again, I saw this from Lila Hart. A bunch of people have shared it. I think my buddy Dan Smots shared it. So this is in New York City, and outside of the Donald Trump, I guess, indictment, there's a bunch of people out there just being dickholes.
Was this the chicken whiteface?
Yes.
And
It's-
then and she does she's doing such a poor job. Her manager actually has to step up and go, "This is performance art." So she's losing.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. We're gonna watch it right now. So here we go. Here it is.
In here and calling all the white
You can
people
hear that, right?
racist.
No, I'm calling them dumb Republicans.
No, you're calling them racist.
Yeah,
You're
because
calling the white
all
men
white people are
racist.
racist. All white people are fucking
Why are you
racist.
trying to instigate violence right now?
Because I'm black and I like violence.
Yeah?
I'm an animal.
So
I'm an animal. I'm a black animal. Yeah! I'm a black animal. Let's kill all white people. Yeah, baby.
Biden 2024?
Biden 2024.
All right, Joe Biden. Leave
We're
that
not
to
crackers Bernie
Biden.
2024.
Good job, Joe
Cracker
Biden.
Bernie
Leave that to
2024, baby. Cracker Bernie 2024, bitch.
I'm not gonna lie. I do the Asian jokes.
Obviously not, because
This is my manager.
Republicans have no
My fucking manager.
This is called
My fucking manager. Fuck the white people.
If something's performance art and you have to yell, "This is performance art," that means it's not working. That means you're trying to walk it back and just be like, "You guys just aren't getting this," and try and shame. Like, that is a manager realizing, you know what? I probably got to close the business or get some better clients because this isn't very
shit.
good.
Like, how many other clients did you got? Do you have any other clients that you're out there? You're like, all right, so what are you gonna do, honey? All right, you're gonna paint yourself white. You're gonna say you're Republican, but then you're gonna yell you're a black animal. It's like nothing she's doing makes any sense coherently
Right.
as even a performance piece. She's in a diaper. I don't understand why. She's in
She
blackface
looks like
as
a
a
Mad
white
Max
Republican.
character.
Yeah, I could see her on a hot motorcycle with a guy strapped to a stick above her.
Just our luck, she's going to be more famous than any of us. Like, you're going to see her next
I'm
day,
sure
like,
she
just
already is.
out in places yelling. Yeah, maybe she's like the black Republican version of Alex Stein.
Well, look, be honest.
Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong in my career.
the paint.
I gotta leave my apartment and just yell more in public. I'm yelling too much indoors. I gotta be outdoors and more in people's faces.
I'm an animal! I'm Robbie the Fire, I'm an animal for sandwiches. Subway sandwiches, you get an instant deal. Yeah, okay, hose her down. Would you do her?
Wait, what?
Hose her down. Hose off the white paint. Take the diaper off. Yes or no?
My sensibilities have changed quite a bit in that I find people to be exhausting, so I'd have to really be out drinking, and I mean really drinking in a way I don't really even drink anymore. I really just want to come home and be left alone. It's like you got to be really attractive at this point for me to, and bullshit free, really attractive and actually into hanging out with me and not wanting to tell me sad stories for a while first type thing.
Well, I mean, look. I'm going to say, if I was real hammered, I could see myself going down that road. But then if you wake up, what would be the greatest thing, though, is if you wake up next to her in the morning.
Right.
And you're over, and she's like, oh, hey, baby. And then you've got white face all over your face,
Right.
and she's all the makeup's on.
I'm
you
an
just go,
old man. Dude,
oh, you're black?
Oh, that's really funny. Sorry, I stepped on your punchline. That was a
That's all
great
good.
joke. You want to just tell that one again and do an edit? Because that was actually a really good joke.
I don't edit shit. It was a good joke. No, but he'll just, you wake up in the morning, you roll over, she's next to you, and you got her white face over your face, and you just go, oh, you're black?
You've got me. You lied. I've been raped.
Damn it. And you're a Democrat. Ah! Get out of my bed. Yeah.
Hey, it would be funny, though, if maybe without the white face on, that's actually a gorgeous lady. I don't know.
I mean, she had big boobs. I'll give her that. But yeah, dude, the manager. This is performance art. Yeah. Okay. Either that or it's a fucking crazy homeless person. So
Right.
yeah, and exactly, it's not working.
That Asian lady's real hot, though. The one that was,
She was hot.
giving her a hard time. Yeah, who's that lady?
I don't know. Oh,
Her and Kim Iverson on OnlyFans. I'll pay for that.
The GOCCP. You know what I'm talking about?
Sorry, Kim. I actually think you're doing the best journalism in this space. Didn't mean to disrespect.
See, and you already are talking about OnlyFans. Arden Stellaris says vomit. I don't know if that's towards us talking about the boobs or the person. Doesn't matter.
Can you see if you can find anyone know who that person actually is, if she's got other performance art?
I was trying to Google it before the show, and maybe
Right.
it's just too fresh that I couldn't find it. Because I was very curious to see what she looked like and what her performance art was. But the thing is, in the performance art, nothing
Right.
she's saying, she's literally countermanding her own performances. She's supposed to be a white Republican. She's out there in rainbow glasses and rainbow suspenders. Was Gallagher a white Republican? Are you Gallagher why are you in a diaper? Nothing makes sense other than that you look like a fucking psychopath screaming about nothing.
Right.
And if her idiot manager was smart, she would have tried to explain what the performance was supposed to be instead of just going, Republicans are idiots, this is performance art.
Right. I don't get it.
And if your manager's that old, she shouldn't be managing that type of performance art, Elsa. Can I just say that? This chick if she's a day old, she's 70. And you should not be handling a shrieking black woman in whiteface in a diaper with her tits covered in what looked to be packing tape.
What can I say? I'm an old man. I don't get what these kids are up to.
All right, so wait, hold on. Somebody says Savannah Hernandez, formerly of Blaze fame? Blaze,
Google it.
like Blaze TV, like Glenn Beck. Was she?
Google it.
What? Wait, was she Glenn? Is Glenn Beck a screaming black woman with big tits?
Google it.
All right, hold on. Savannah Hernandez, right? Was that her name? Savannah Hernandez. All right. Oh, that's the hot chick. I want to know who the crazy black chick was.
We'll pull that up. I want to see more of the hot chick.
All right, Savannah Hernandez. Yeah, she's good looking. Oh, I thought she was Asian. Sorry, I missed.
She's not Asian?
She looks insanely It's ridiculous her last name's Hernandez. That's got to be a married
Pull
in.
some of the pictures. You're leaving me in the dark here.
I'm getting there. Now she's with Turning Point USA. There's Savannah. Let's look at her Instagram. This is what the people tune in for: hardcore political commentary and stalking hot reporters on
What is
Instagram.
Turning Point USA?
That is Turning Point USA. I think is Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk's thing?
Yeah, I think it's Charlie Kirk's thing.
I don't know that much about Charlie Kirk. I know that he exists, but I don't know that much about him.
She's a good-looking gal, and
in that picture or whatever. Let's see.
she's still good-looking.
Let's see the hot pictures. Come on, show me the slutty stuff.
Look,
Get that Instagram. What are you doing
you're
here?
the guy that's saying these people shouldn't join OnlyFans, and then here you are trying to find
I didn't say
slutty
not to
pictures
join
of them.
OnlyFans. I said go find this lady's Instagram pictures right now. That's what I
Look
said.
how beautiful she is right here. I was
You're
on
not
Instagram.
showing me the picture.
What am I on? Oh, did I close the window?
Yeah.
Well, that's my bad.
You're enjoying these pictures all to yourself.
All right, fine. Here's her Twitter. Look, there's her Tucker Carlson. Look how pretty she is there. Pretty girl.
Now it's just me. Now I just have the whole show to myself. Hey there, fans of the Lions of Liberty podcast. Are you sick of Brian and think that Robbie the Fire should be the only real bald man representing the libertarian community? Well,
You see what you've done?
You,
I try to find these fucking pictures of this girl and accidentally X out my own window on the show. All right. God damn it. Yes. All right. Somebody says Filipinos. Anarca Rico says Filipinos are Asian with Hispanic names.
When we finally
they are the lowest rung of Asian, by the way. I've been told that by other Asians. I didn't say that personally, but I've been told that by every other Asian race.
Okay,
that Filipinos are at the bottom.
I have a terrible bet. Oh my God, I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna regret this.
We still have to do our sperm race.
I know, but I just thought of a great consequence for the loser.
Okay.
But I'm gonna regret this so bad. I don't even know if I want to say it. Maybe we'll have to work out the parameters, but
all right, fine.
No hats and not allowed to shave your head for some duration of time, so that you have to rock the old man's sides.
I'll look so much better than you, though.
I will look so old, and I feel like I spend more time in front of the camera, and we don't even know if my sperm works. You've knocked up your non-Puerto Rican wife twice now.
Twice? That's a lot for a non-Puerto Rican woman.
How old are you?
I'm 43 now.
43. Still got big, thick loads?
Yeah, man. They fall at what they make. They actually, I've broken tiles in the shower. I have cracks.
You seal them up. That's actually how you patch things up in the bathroom.
That's the thing. It's like Flex Seal. It's amazing.
Tiles fall off, and you just splurt a load on there and slap the tile back on.
When you see commercials for white Flex Seal with that guy with the big, thick black beard, that's just my cum you're splattering on the bottom of your boat. Your boat made of fucking
income here.
fenced-in doors or whatever, screen door boat. All right, damn! It's already an hour. We didn't even get into the Trump indictment stuff. We still have to do our Q&A. Well, let's real quick.
Okay.
We'll do 5 minutes of Trump indictment stuff. Then, if you guys, we're gonna do a Q&A with Robbie. Ask him anything, but you got to go to our Patreon, Lions of Liberty Patreon, patreon.com/Lions of Liberty, $15 level. That is where you get in to do the Q&A. We're gonna be doing these once a quarter. Robbie's our first victim. And you can ask him, as I said, anything. Dick length, ass depth. That's what I'm curious to hear. How deep is your ass? But before that, thoughts on the indictment, Robbie?
Well, I'm curious to. I haven't actually dug into the charges, but it sounds like, because I even heard on a mainstream news channel today, whoever their legal analysis was like, they were basically saying, yeah, he had some fraudulent business records. But the fact that they're trying to tie this into the campaign stuff is a stretch. And that was coming from them trying to sell the story. Yeah. So it sounds to me like this is probably going to fall apart. I mean, it's nonsense of all the things that people go down for. You might get in trouble for actually overplaying for a blowjob.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny. And I read something that Donald Trump Jr. posted that Stormy Daniels has been ordered to pay back a lot of the money, too.
Oh,
so
hilarious.
What did he even pay her for then?
Right.
But it just seems like one of the biggest missteps, the most idiotic missteps from the Democratic Party, unless the whole plan is to get Trump in, right? If they're afraid of DeSantis, let's say the Democrats are playing 8D chess.
Right.
They know DeSantis is the better candidate, which he is, but they want Donald Trump versus Biden in the general. So Trump galvanizes, his base now. He'll get ushered in there. Now Biden can beat him because people hate Trump. But I think they might have miscalculated.
I don't
because
think Biden. I think pre-Ukraine war, Biden might have been able to win a re-election, and he probably only could have won a re-election against Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to venture to guess that. I would venture to guess that Biden versus Trump round 2 will have the lowest voting engagement of all time, but there's no way I think people are going to want out of this Ukraine war thing, and I think we're going to have currency, inflation, and other issues that are going to become a little bit too apparent.
Well, the whole brick thing getting off the dollar is worrying, but that's a topic maybe for the Q&A.
There you go.
There you go. We'll end it there because we're already at an hour. Toad, I'd ask Robbie's ass to penis ratio, but he already measured his ass live on Tower Gang. He might have measured his ass. Did he measure the depth? By the way, I'll be on Tower Gang tomorrow, by the way. For any of you watching this live show, I'll be on Tower Gang Live Wednesday night, so tune in there.
I got a mold of my penis, and I tried to put it into my own ass, but I couldn't do it. So
that's
I guess
awesome.
My penis is larger than my asshole. I just wanted to run that experiment for myself, just in case it came up on a podcast.
Oh, that's a great experiment. We should have done that bet.
No.
All right, guys. Robbie, where can people find you, watch you, support you, and do all the things that make a beautiful bald man happy?
Run Your Mouth podcast, Summer Porch Tour coming soon, Robbie the Fire on all social, and I got a weekly Wednesday show at Cafe Bohemia in New York City. If you want to get tickets online, promo code FIRE, $5, or honestly, you can just show up.
Fuck that. Pay the $5. Don't be a cunt. All right, that's it. Let's go to the bonus show. Robbie, I'll shoot you the link on Twitter.
Oh,
all right.
New link.
A new link. From me, Brian McWilliams, from Robbie the Fire Bernstein, from the Run Your Mouth podcast, from the Lions of Liberty, and from me and Age Daydream. Keep those electric eyes on us, babe. And keep those ray guns to our